As soon as Israel started releasing all these hostages, I'm like, why do you have so many children hostages to release? So quick Google search got me to, of course, another international human rights organization report. Stripped, beaten, and blindfolded. New research reveals ongoing violence and abuse of Palestinian children. Save the Children presents evidence today to the Human Rights Council on Palestinian children in detention. It is estimated there are between 500 and 1,000 children held in Israeli military detention each year. Please let that number sink in. 42% of the children were injured, including gunshot wounds and broken bones, and 65% of the children were arrested during the night, mostly between midnight and dawn. Half of the arrests took place in the children's home. Majority of the children experienced appalling levels of physical and emotional abuse, including being beaten, 86% of them, being threatened with harm, 70% of them, and hit with sticks or guns, which is 60%. Some children reported violence and abuse of a sexual nature, including being hit or touched on the genitals, and 69% reported being strip searched. Children. 60% of the children experienced solitary confinement with length of time varying from 1 day to as long as 48 days. Let me tell you something as a criminal defense attorney. Solitary confinement is inhumane for adults. When you do it to children, frontal lobe hasn't even fully developed. It is unconscionable. This is a regularly used practice. Children were denied access to basic services. 70% said they suffered from hunger, and 68% said they didn't receive any health care. 58% of children were denied visits or communication with their family while detained. Children are increasingly unable to fully return to their normal life following release. And now notice something. Frequent nightmares rising from 39% to 53%, and insomnia and difficulty sleeping skyrocketing from 47% to 73%. Do you understand that the reason that they can calculate the increase in percentage of that harm to these children is because previous reports from international organizations exist regarding the abuse of children in Israeli military detention systems and court systems? Defenseless. The impact of Israeli military detention on Palestinian children. Here's the page I'm going to zoom into. 81% were physically beaten at least once, and 43% beaten numerous times. 46% were deprived of food and water, and almost all of these children, 93%, said that this happened more than once. Others reported being given inedible food, including raw meat, and 85% were often woken up in the middle of the night. Do you understand that depriving children and civilians of food and water is a regularly used tactic by Israel? We were all shocked. How could they do something like this? This is what they have been doing to children. To children. They just come and they take your kids. These are kidnapped victims, and the kidnappers have no desire to negotiate. Their whole purpose is to cause psychological trauma and psychological torture for you to leave their land.